Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for attending today's First Thursday on Recycling 101. And we know folks are just coming in here, so we'll continue to have folks join us. But again, it's good to see you all. And thank you all for joining us for First Thursday on Recycling 101 with Sustainable Tulsa. Before we get started, I want to say thank you for joining us and hope that you're staying safe and healthy right now. And we again know we're eager to see you when the time is right. Megan's going to launch a poll really quickly. And if you don't mind taking a poll to answer these questions while we begin, that would be wonderful. It helps us improve this opportunity to connect with you around these important issues. So thank you for taking a moment to take that poll. Okay. Also, our team is working hard here to connect with you, as I mentioned, through First Thursdays, our B2Bs, our scorecard work days, and our Oklahoma Green Living pages. We're planning for an exciting 2021. We've already launched it and had some great discussions, and we just wrapped up our February B2B last week on circularity. It was a great conversation. And that'll be posted on our website here soon, just for those that missed it. Also, and all of our First Thursdays are posted as well. If you end up missing one or want to go back, just let you know that. But we are connecting with you, and we hope that you can help support our work. And one easy way you can do that is through the Oklahoma Green Living pages there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But I want to thank our program sponsors, our lead sponsor, which is Williams, our neighborhood partners, Public Service Company of Oklahoma, as well as PSO Wind Choice, and our community advocates, American Waste Control, Covanta, the Met, One Oak, Save Our Streams, and Spirit Air Systems. Let's give them a round of applause and thank them for their support. That's how we're able to share this program with you today. I also want to thank my Sustainable Tulsa board members here today. We've got a great crew of folks today, and wave if you can when I call your name. Johnny Bouchard, Stephanie Cameron, Connor Carroll, Richard Cox, Wayne Isaacs, Carolyn Janney, Richard Katarski, Mike Lemus, Ann Money, Carrie Rowland, Pam Taylor, Mike Teague, and Aaron Larder. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you for your leadership into this year. And also want to thank my team, of course, Megan Hurley, Marketing Events Coordinator, who puts this all together for us, Teresa Kerrigan, our scorecard manager, and Jill Maud, who keeps us organized. Thank you to my team. They're amazing to work with. You can also become a supporter of Sustainable Tulsa. It's easier than ever before. It's just $25. Your name will be added to our growing list of change makers in our community on the Oklahoma Green Living page. Do it today if you can. Every little bit helps us to continue to make this program available to you. So we'd love to have your support today. Our next First Thursday, we're looking forward to it. The title of it is For the Love of Nature, and it will be held on Thursday, April 1st, and with special guest speaker, Kristen Delamore. She's the writer and editor for National Geographic. We're excited to have her join us, the first speaker from National Geographic, and registration is open today. And Teresa's going to put that in the link in the chat for you now. So take a moment just to sign up, and that invitation will go out shortly, but you can sign up today. You can also, in April, we're hosting our next B2B Case for Sustainability series, and this event will be April 29th. So we're really trying to fill Earth Month with some education opportunities, and this one's going to be on climate action. We're really excited about this panel, and there'll be some new faces that you haven't met before in our event. So we're excited to share that with you here shortly. You can go ahead and register today for that event following the link that will be added in the chat. Thank you, Teresa. So we're excited to highlight some photos from February Sustainability Change Challenge. And Megan, I'm going to pass the mic to you to give us an update.
Thank you, Corey. Well, February was plant something, plant to plant, propagate, and we had some really great responses. So it sounds like a lot of our community is already doing that, but as you can see, we have a lot of propagation here and new seedlings. So these pictures are courtesy of Claudia Sanders, Liz Masters, and Sarah Block. So thank you, ladies, for showing us how you are making the world a greener place. On the next slide, we also have a few like succulents that are sprouting and just new growth, and that's really exciting. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for the winter. So this tells me that we're bringing back new life into the world. I'm very excited about it. So if you want to participate in any of our monthly challenges, which we'll announce our March challenge at the end of today's presentation, please join our Facebook group. It's our Sustainable Tulsa Action Group, and Teresa is putting the link in the chat right now. So we'd love for you to join. It's free to participate. It's super fun, and we get the conversation going around sustainability. So please join us. And now we are going to move to our digital booth section. So, all right, PSO Oklahoma. Thank you, PSO, again, for being one of our major sponsors for First Thursday. If you would like to learn more about what you can do in your home, energy efficient appliances, and their wonderful rebate program, please contact Nanette at her phone number there or her email, NanetteS@aep.com. Thank you so much. And we move on to American Waste Control. American Waste Control, Amanda Curtis or Jessica, are you guys on with us? They may not have joined us yet today.
Paul Ross is here.
Well, Robert's here.
Paul Ross and Robert are here.
Yes, well, Robert's going to be sharing a lot more about their program. And I think
but Megan, I think Paul Ross is there to maybe say a couple words.
Okay, Paul, thank you.
Hi there. Yeah. So am I supposed to say a couple words right now? Is that what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, we're just thrilled to be a sponsor of Sustainable Tulsa, thrilled to be here. I know Mike Self's on the call, Robert Pickens is on the call, and really we have a great team of waste and recycling, energy from waste experts at our company. And we're just thrilled to support you guys and stand behind you in your mission. So we love you all.
We love you. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, and next up we have Allie with the Met. Allie, you have some exciting updates happening this week.
Yes, we do. So we just, a little bit about the Met. We have 10 centers in and around Tulsa and one affiliate center. We accept a lot of materials that cannot be recycled through curbside. So motor oil, cooking oil, electronics, grocery bags, and batteries. And we provide employment for 75 individuals with developmental disabilities. So we just love to help out our community and everyone in it. And then our big event coming up this Saturday, we're partnering with Cox and we are doing the Big Spring Clean. And that's going to be this Saturday at the Fairground, Tulsa, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we'll take all of those, hard to recycle items like bags, batteries, shredding, e-waste, tires, ammunition, and medication. Come on down and bring us your recyclables. We'll be there all day.
You will see me there, Allie. I have, unfortunately, because of pandemic, we've been doing a lot of grocery pickup, so I haven't been able to use my bags. So I have a ton of plastic bags that I'm bringing you. So there's your warning. I'll see you on Saturday. I hate it, but I'm glad that you guys are recycling it. So thank you. All right, and then we have City of Tulsa. They have a virtual cleanup. And Vanessa, I think, are you on with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi.
I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our virtual creek cleanup. It's going to be from April 10th through the 24th. We'll be having a website up soon, and that'll have all of the available locations that people can sign up for. And we'll have t-shirts too. I'm really excited about those.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. And you, this is the information about the household pollutant collection facility.
Yes, and we'll get to hear a lot more about that from Don Henson today, but we're open on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 8 to 4:30. And we accept things like paints and pesticides, some batteries, but you can check our website for more information about exactly what it is that we accept.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So that's cityoftulsa.org /resource recovery. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Corey, I'm going to get back over to you and we shall begin.
Great, thank you. So many great things, and appreciate everyone, all the work that they're doing here to make Tulsa a more sustainable, resilient community, and we're proud to work with each of you. Yes, so it's my honor to introduce our panelists today, and first I'll be introducing Robert Pickens. I have to say, before I share a little more about him, I've just had the pleasure of knowing Robert over the years, and I joke that I sat in on his Recycling 101 class. It was just because he was giving me a little update, and I felt like I was in a class with him because he's just so knowledgeable. So you're in for a treat today. Robert Pickens has been in the recycling industry for 32 years and has extensive experience in facility operations, commercial, industrial, curbside and drop-off recycling programs, commodity sales and marketing, MRF design and consulting, and off-site and mobile document shredding. Robert lives in Sand Springs and serves as treasurer for the Oklahoma Recycling Association, OKRA, and is a board member on the Oklahoma Indian Nations chapter of Solid Waste Associations of North America, SWANA. So it's my pleasure to introduce Robert Pickens. Thank you so much, Robert.
Thank you, Corey. Good afternoon. Glad to be here today. So this is our facility. This is Mr. Murph. If you were recycling with Mr. Murph, City of Tulsa, City of Broken Arrow, this is where it all happens. Next slide, please. I've got a lot of information to unpack, so I'm going to talk fairly quick, but I wanted to cover some highlights. First of all, Oklahoma ranks 3rd in the country for having the most manufacturers that use recyclables to produce a product and or the packaging for a product. So we have a very robust history of taking in recyclables and handling those. Next slide, please. Also, there's been a lot of news lately about China and recyclables. Just want to put everybody's mind at ease. Here in Oklahoma, we're too far inland really to be shipping to China, so they haven't really been an impact on us since they stopped taking a lot of the recyclables from here. Down in the lower left corner is the United States map. What that is those are dots of different paper mills throughout the country, and this map is rather old. It's about 2010. Since then, when China got into the market, about 56 of those mills have shut down. But what's happened recently since China stopped taking recyclables is a lot of those mills have started back up again, but they're doing different things. So it might have been a fine paper mill that is now producing cardboard boxes, because what we see is a lot more e-commerce going on, especially since the pandemic, and there's been a much higher demand for some items such as cardboard boxes. So a lot of these mills have started back up again. We're also seeing new processors start up for plastics. So rest assured, we're seeing the recycling environment coming back to the United States and becoming very robust once again. Next slide, please. So American Waste Control, we provide 2 different recycling services for the Tulsa metro area. First is our drop-off, our Mr. Murph bins. We have 250 public Mr. Murph bins throughout the Tulsa metro area, and you can go to our website to check those out and see if there's one close to you if you don't have curbside recycling offered to you. We also offer curbside recycling to the city of Jinx, the city of Bixby, and the city of Glenpool. So we are collecting recyclables there and bringing them back in here into Mr. Murph. Next slide, please. And these are both of our programs. So we use our education materials. We use a lot of graphics, very little wording, but more graphics. We try to take that visual approach. We find that people understand it and read it easier. But in both our programs, we're taking paper, plastics, steel cans and aluminum cans, food beverage containers, paper cartons, which is fairly unique for a lot of programs as well. So on our drop-off sites at Mr. Murph, we don't accept glass in those because our bin sponsors don't want to have any broken glass around the container somebody could be injured on. But in our curbside programs, we accept glass. So that's the same thing with City of Tulsa. They accept glass. City of Broken Arrow accepts glass as well. What we predominantly do in a lot of our programs is we focus really just on 6 items not to place in the recycling cart or the recycle bin. And even though we see more items coming through the MRF every day that are not recyclable, as far as one of those items across the top there, if we focus on those 6 items, it's an easier message to get out to people and for them to understand overall. Next slide, please. And this is an overview of our facility. We process 7.8 million pounds of recyclables per month. On the lower right corner, that is our commercial and industrial mixed line over there, where we bring in recyclables from the businesses. But on the upper left corner, that is the MRF, the first picture that you saw from there. It's kind of an overview of everything and how that works. And our glass system is kind of over on the far left side. It's rather small from there. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the screen. I just wanted to cover this real quick of how recyclables are separated at a recycling facility. So a lot of people believe there's a long conveyor line and that the Keebler Elves are up there and they're grabbing everything and separating out. It doesn't quite happen that way. We process recyclables up to 40,000 pounds per hour. We can process that. But recyclables, when it comes in, our system is automated, and the people that we have on are more quality control. So the system is doing the bulk of the work, and it separates recyclables based upon the item's size, its weight, and what I mean by size overall is in dimensional size is a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional object, and then by its weight. So as it passes through, it drops. Certain items travel across screens, other items drop through. So think of it like sifting sand, but if you make the openings bigger, more goes through. If you make them smaller, less goes through. Next slide, please. The biggest nemesis for a recycling facility that's handling your mixed recyclables is going to be anything that can wrap or wind. This is a picture of a paper screen at the end of the shift. And you can see plastic bags are definitely a problem for us. We do not like plastic bags. If it has the word B in it and it says bags, we don't like it. So bags equal bad in our world. Those are recyclable. We always encourage everybody to take them to a retailer or grocer where you got them from to return those bags. But what we have to do is we have to go in every day and clean these screens up so that those openings that you saw on the other slide are available for the recyclables that drop through. If they don't stay open and they get clogged up because of these tanglers through here, the recyclables don't get separated. Next slide, please. One thing I wanted to cover real quick is that we have to get a message across to really predominantly 4 generations of people. The 5th generation would be the silent generation. But what we're focusing on mainly in our message is we look at those generational folks that have buying power, as we put it. Those are the people that are going to be making decisions on what they purchase, basically if an item is going to be recyclable or not be recyclable, but they're also going to be our heaviest recyclers overall. The Gen Z generation, for us, they're kind of a captive audience. We cover that a lot in our education. We have an observation area here at the MRF, and we do conduct tours. Prior to COVID, since COVID, we've stopped our tours, but we plan on starting those back up here later this year. So we can capture the youth right now and be able to get them in there. But right now in Tulsa, we're really 1st generation recyclers overall. When you look at curbside carts coming to the communities, you're really a first-time recycler, so therefore we spend a lot of time with the 3 different generations. Next, please. So I wanted to unpack a couple myths that we see out there. Number 1, pizza boxes. Pizza boxes are recyclable. Biggest thing, empty the contents out. We get enough pizza in this MRF every day. We can do about 3 large pizzas every day, just pizza itself. The next biggest thing is if a grease stain goes completely through the box or you have cheese stuck to the lid, just rip off the bad section, toss that in the trash, and place the good section in the recycle cart. So real simple with that. Another big thing, caps and lids on the plastic bottles and containers. We do want lids on those. Those are just as recyclable as the container or the bottle itself. Also, too, you do not have to remove labels from steel cans and also the labels around plastic bottles. They can stay on as well. Also, we ask people, this is somewhat different than the message that's been talked about for many years, but please do not flatten the recyclables. Remember, we are separating recyclables based upon its dimensional size. We want to keep containers and bottles in a 3-dimensional shape. Our system can separate them better that way. If they're flattened, they're going to take a different path and they're going to end up more likely with paper, and then we have to remove those manually from there. Next slide, please. So right here is a quick snapshot. This label is on top of our cart, but we also use it in lots of our education material from there. But here's our method. When in doubt, check it out. If you don't want to check out, throw it out. No wish cycling. Please, no wish recycling. Okay, that's going to add to more contamination. Next slide, please. So I wanted to give you a couple indicators of trying to make recycling a little easier for you. So we've got a couple little slogans that we do, but the 3 areas of the home you want to recycle in, that you're going to capture 80% of the items that we accept in our programs, is going to be the kitchen, the laundry, and the bath. Recycle from those areas. Next slide, please. The 3 areas in the home you do not want to recycle from is the garage, the shed, and the yard. Now, I took the picture of the garage from Matt Newman's garage. So that's his garage, what it really looks like. And we probably received everything in that garage in our recycling at one time or another. But please, no areas from that. And the reason why is in this slide right here, predominantly, oh, that's okay, Megan, you go to the next slide, thank you. Predominantly what we're looking at here is we're going to deal with combustible, flammable, household pollutants are from the garage, shed, and the yard areas from there, tanglers, but you can see from this here that a lot, automobile parts, that's my little automobile at the top. We get a lot of automobile parts in here at the same time, but propane tanks down in the bottom are very dangerous to our workers, and some of these items can cause harm from them. So we want to go ahead and please not recycle from those areas. We understand that there may be some containers out there, but if you have a charcoal grill and you're charcoaling, that lighter fluid comes in that plastic bottle. That bottle is recyclable, but the problem is people don't always empty it completely out. And if we get a flammable item or combustible item such as that in the recyclables, it can be very dangerous to our employees and cause a fire. Next slide, please. So here, I wanted to go ahead and get into plastics because I get a lot of questions about plastics. So when it comes to plastics, keep it simple. We accept bottles, jugs, tubs, cups, and buckets, and that's all the programs in the metro areas from there. So just remember that when it comes to plastics. All the other plastics, next slide, please, do not place them in your recycle cart, okay? That's going to be your bags, your styrofoam. Blister pack items is where you got to use the scissors to cut it out. Next slide, please. Glass is another item from there. When you look at glass, a very easy thing to remember is we accept jars and bottles only. No caps or corks or anything like that. You can leave the labels on. Those are all the colors we accept. Remember, when you recycle glass, it's going to come from the refrigerator or the kitchen food pantry. Nowhere else in the home. Next slide, please. Also, some product packaging changes that you may see occur out there that kind of throws up things. You go buy your tuna fish 1 week and it's in a steel can. You go back 2 weeks later and it's in a pouch pack. You can't recycle the pouch pack from there. If it's got a Ziploc or it's a wrap, anything like that, you won't be able to recycle it from there. Next slide, please. Same thing. Maybe your laundry detergent came in a container one time, the next time back to the pouch pack. Please don't throw the pouch pack in there. When in doubt, check it out. Next slide, please. Also, if you have any kind of educational material your recycler is providing you, please refer to that. Here's a magnet. Next slide, please. This is a recycle tote you may have available for you when you recycle with us. Next slide, please. And it tells you some of the items. And next slide, please. There's our OOTS cards that we put on containers if somebody placed something in there. Next slide, please. And we also do some social media. So if you're on social media, if you would just take a quick look at some of the things that are being pushed out there by the city of Tulsa, by us, city of Broken Arrow. Just the real quick visual items there to help you out, little tidbits. Next slide, please. And also we talk about non-acceptable items, but also where you can take those non-acceptable items to. Electronics, e-waste, especially with the MET or natural evolution. Next slide, please. And there's going to be some items we run into since COVID. We do get a lot of items. People ask us about gloves and masks. Please place those in your trash. Please, no medical waste whatsoever. Hypodermic needles are very bad. You can take those back to corresponding places. Next slide, please. And like I said, when in doubt, there's a lot of social media, a lot of information out there that you can get. Just reach out, do that. You can call us here at American Waste Control too. We can answer your questions. Even if you're in the city of Tulsa or Broken Arrow, we can answer those questions. You can also reach out to us on our website and ask questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. amazing information. I know you have even more to share with us. And thank you so much, Robert, for all that great information. I've seen some questions already in the chat. So again, if you have questions, please send them in the chat and send them directly to Teresa. She'll get them collated for later in the program. But now it's my honor to introduce our next presenter, which is Susan Bergman. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Bergen Enterprise. Her vision for the company is that Bergen Enterprise will be recognized as an organization with innovative and successful business lines, including restaurants, agriculture, energy, land management, investments, and sustainable resource development. Susan developed this mission statement for her company to represent her philosophy of life and work, to work as if no one else is coming while developing and improving our people and our community, our planet, and our profit. So thank you so much and welcome, Susan. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. And thank you for, Sustainable Tulsa is such a great organization. We, along with Mr. Murph and the people at American Waste, adopted a different view of material. At the brochure that you sent out, it says 75% of all waste is recyclable. And we deal currently with the 8% of the waste that is material that we believe doesn't need to be called trash. It needs to be called recyclable material. So can you go to the next slide, please? We deal with wood, kiln dried hardwood only, no green material. Everything has about 3% moisture in it. It's very dry. We receive that material in many different ways. We work with different organizations. Primarily, we work with American Waste. We go into a facility, we identify the material that they have that we can use at our facility, and we develop a plan for how to receive that material. They have compactors, they have open top boxes. We have available box vans, a 53-foot truck trailer, and we find something that's workable for both parties. We develop a plan and then we start doing that. Can you go to the next slide? Once the material comes to us, we evaluate every truckload coming in. There's material just like at the MRF that can be dangerous to our staff and our equipment, and primarily that's metal. So some manufacturers have big wooden boxes that they're receiving things in. They take it out. Maybe they haven't gone down to the bottom. There's a layer. So we are really careful with how we receive the material. And then we grind it up in our really large industrial machines, which you can see there in the picture. So we lift it up, we grind it, and we make it into, we have proprietary baffles on our machines, and we make it into a high value product. Next, please. One of the things that is asked the most is, what do you do with the metal? We have tremendous magnets. We pull that metal out and we recycle that. So it's another high value product that we're pulling out of the waste stream. Next, please. Once the material is manufactured, we then have it ready. We have two distinct product lines. One is to be used in gardens. We don't take the sawdust out of that. Sawdust is, we know, is just a form of carbon and it goes right back into the ground. The other product that we have is a play zone material, which you can find at schools, parks. The Gathering Place in Tulsa uses it. And that is a fall safe material. It's guaranteed to have, we do an additional screening, an additional metal check on that to make sure there's no metal in there. So that's the two distinct lines of material that we have. And we outbound the material generally by the semi-load. Next, please. So why are we doing what we're doing and why does it matter? As you can see, the amount of material that we're getting, it's massive. We recycled over 100 million tons of material last year. Actually, I think I'm high on that number, but it's a tremendous amount of material when you think about annually what's going into it. And it's such great material because it's kiln dried hardwood. We do it with minimal environmental impact. It's not a lot of equipment to do that. And it's a cost-effective thing for you to do. Some of our partners are Coca-Cola, Boeing Hitachi, Cameron Valve, Cox Communication, Ditch Witch. The pallets that we received that are recyclable, it has 2 or less broken boards. We put that back into the industrial stream. This also is, we think of it as a circular economy. It's not going out of use, it's continuing to be used in the economy. Okay, next, please. And this is some pictures of where we've used the material. It's low maintenance and it's fall safe. We are the only certified producer in the state of a material that can be used on playgrounds. Next, please. And our mulch is a beautiful blonde color. Most of the mulch that you buy as bag product is coming from us, but it goes to another manufacturing facility, and although it's food safe, food grade dye, it's not that pretty blonde. So if you would like to pick some up with us, we're happy to sell it to you by the pickup truckload, or a lot of people come with just a little trailer to receive the material, but it's a pretty blonde material to have around your house. Next, please. And I wanted to talk a little bit about a sister company and something that we're in dialogue in your region with, and that is Prairie Dirt Solutions. And that is where we take the green waste, which is considered to be almost half of the material going into the landfill, is stuff that could be used to be made into compost. So we actively do that. We have an 80-acre facility in the Oklahoma City area, and we have another permitted location that we will start operating this spring. And we're in dialogue in your region to see if we can't capture more of that material and bring it back to healthy soil. Next, please. So we would have to have a whole discussion about the importance of compost. And the next man will tell you that compost cleanses the water as it comes through. When rain falls down, it holds it. It slows down the water events that we're having in the road. So if you can imagine, if every house could hold their water and not send it to the street, that's something that compost can do. It's a sponge. It holds the water and then slowly releases it to the plants instead of accelerating it out into the road. Next, please. Okay, that's it. Call us, email us. We would love to visit with you if we could be of service to you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Susan. Again, I learned so much from you and Robert earlier. It's great to know there's so many of these great resources, and you picked up on something that we visited about last time at our B2B, which is the whole topic was circularity. How important it is that we continue to think about how we can think about resources coming in our within our community and our homes, and how to make sure that we're being responsible for those materials. So thank you again for that reminder, and I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. Very creative projects you have going on, and services. Next, it's my honor to introduce Jacob Hagen. Worked in his department many moons ago, decades ago rather. So it's great to have you here with us. He's currently the stormwater quality manager for the city of Tulsa. Jacob has been assigned to ensure Tulsa's compliance with all aspects of its stormwater quality permit, pesticides, general permit, and transfer station permit, otherwise known as the City of Tulsa Household Pollution Collection Facility, which we're going to hear a lot about today. He oversees a staff of 13 team members. Jacob holds a bachelor's of science degree in wildlife biology from Murray State University and a master's of science degree in wildlife ecology and management from Oklahoma State University. So welcome, Jacob. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for everyone for joining us today. As Corey mentioned, I'll be talking about our household pollutant collection facility. I will try to quickly cover the different waste streams we accept and how we try to recycle and reuse as many of those waste streams as possible. And then I'll also talk very briefly at the end about why it's important to properly dispose of those materials as opposed to disposing of them in ways that would be either detrimental to the environment or detrimental to the other city utility systems. So, all right, let's get into it. One of our first waste streams we accept is used oil at our facility. That's from things like people changing the oil in their vehicles at home. It's one of our more popular items that we accept here. As Vanessa mentioned, Don Henson, our supervisor of the facility, made these slides, and he titled this our bad oil. It's not necessarily bad, but it has the potential to be impure. As you can imagine, people leave oil outside or in areas that it gets contaminated. So we pour that into this 500-gallon drum and let a third-party contractor come and reuse that oil. They have the processes that can filter and treat that oil into a more usable form than we can here at the facility. Next slide. We also have a used antifreeze tank. Same thing, anyone doing home maintenance on their vehicles is welcome to bring us that product. Both of these get mixed and taken by the contractor in different construction processes and even heating processes for instance, large storage buildings. That's what these two products get reused for. Next slide. We also accept used cooking oil at our facility, especially around the holiday seasons. It's a more popular item that gets used at home, and then folks don't know what to do with it. So you're welcome to bring it to our facility where we have a local vendor come and recycle that product. This is one that could be very detrimental to your home plumbing if you improperly dispose of it down your kitchen sink. It is very well known to solidify and cause blockages and sewer overflows, which not only is bad for your home and our city sewer system, but it's also detrimental to our environment when that wastewater overflows and spills into our creeks and streams. Next slide, please. Speaking of using waste oil as a heating source, we have a separate tank where we accept used oil from our city garages. That's oil that we know is very pure and doesn't contain any contaminants. We use that to fuel this waste to oil heater. This was purchased with a grant from the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality. They were very excited when we approached them about opening this facility in 2016, that they helped us get it off the ground with some seed money. And this is one of the things that they agreed would be a good use of our resources to reuse that oil that we get from our city garages. Next slide, please. And there is the tank. 250-gallon tank sounds like a lot, but we burn through that pretty quickly, especially in those colder weeks and months like we just had recently. Next slide. One of the ways that we try to reduce our footprint as much as possible in the facility is minimizing the waste that we have to throw away. This is our paint can crusher. It crushes your standard gallon-sized paint container into a very thin, very small pancake of metal. The liquids drain into that drum below, and I'll talk about how we reuse that later. But this is just one of the many ways that we reduce our footprint and the amount of material that goes into our dumpster. Speaking of flammable waste streams, we get approximately 50% of our total weight that's disposed of in the facility is flammable. That is reused by our disposal contractor in cement kilns to fuel the cement making process. If you're familiar with that, it's a very energy intensive process that can replace the traditional fuels that are used to fuel that, the coal and natural gas. So a lot of that material, that flammable material that we get in, is able to be reused in that way and repurposed, which is a very good thing. Next slide, please. Latex paint is one product that we originally had not been accepting, but due to very, very high customer demand, everyone seems to have this at home and doesn't know what to do with it. So we started accepting it a couple of years ago. We've been able to repurpose some of it into some community projects like graffiti painting over. A lot of the material that we get in is unfortunately not in usable shape to be reused. We estimate about 70% has been sitting, in a garage or unclimate controlled area and is just kind of a blob that can't be remixed very properly. So the material that we do get in and is in good shape, we try to reuse as much as possible. Next slide. Electronic waste, like many of the other vendors or organizations in town that are accepting this, we accept electronic waste, and it's one that unfortunately I don't have a lot of information about how it gets reused and recycled, but I know it's one of our more popular ones and becoming more and more popular with our citizens as time goes by. So if you have that, we would happily accept it and get it to our vendors that handle that. We also try to recycle the kind of byproducts that we get in the facility. People bring us a lot of their materials in cardboard boxes and plastic containers. We have a dumpster set up that recycles that, our plastic, and then some other materials as well. So we try to recycle as much as we can, even the byproducts that we get. And then even our dumpster, like American Waste Control was talking about, they're making energy out of their landfills. I know the dumpster gets taken to Covanta and is likewise made energy out of for our refineries. So even our trash is able to have a second life in a way. One of the coolest things I think about our facility is our swap shop. It is where we take brand new or gently used items, lightly used items that citizens bring to us, and we either have to clean them up very slightly, organize them and put them on our shelves, and let the public come and take 5 of those for free. There are a lot of great items in this area. If you've ever been to our facility, you've seen them. If not, we strongly encourage you guys to come and check it out. Even if you don't have any pollutants to drop off with us, you can come and visit the swap shop and take those 5 items. We even have a reusable canvas bag that you can take with you. And if you come back to us with that bag, we know you are a repeat customer and we're happy you're back, and we'll give you an extra 6th item. So please check that out. We've reused almost 10,000 pounds of products through that area over the last 3 years. And that not only saves the city of Tulsa money, but it also saves our citizens money. They don't have to go to the stores to buy those products. They can use them with what they were originally intended for. So a very great part of our program. And we have lots and lots of items there, as you can see on the shelves. Next slide. I think I covered parts of this already. The car and motorcycle batteries is something that we recycle as well through our contractor. Mercury thermostats is something we recycle in partnership with Covanta. And then I mentioned the cardboard and plastic. Next slide. So just some general information about the facility. Come visit us. If you haven't, we encourage you to come check us out. If you have, spread the word to your friends and neighbors. We're open 2 days a week, Wednesday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. No appointment necessary. That's one of the changes we've made since we started opening the facility in 2016. Our address is there. Our websites, there are 2 there at the bottom. You can visit those to check out what items we accept and what items we don't accept. There are too many to list on this short, brief presentation, so I encourage you to check out the websites for more information. And I will list my contact information there. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call either Dawn, who is the supervisor of the facility, or myself, and we would be happy to answer anything, or you can shoot us an email at either of those 2 addresses. And again, we're happy to spread the word about the facility and try to handle those waste streams that we don't want going into the trash system, don't want being dumped out in our streams, and don't want being dumped into the drains to cause problems either at your house or down the line. So I believe that is my last slide. So thank you, Megan.
Thank you so much. Wow, just chock full of so many good ways to be a better steward of our community, and so lots of questions are coming in, so we're going to get at it, and go ahead and continue to send those in, and we want to try to get to all of them as much as we can. I do want to say a lot of folks are also posting some of their own tips. And so check out the chat because there's a lot of great information there as well. Okay, so lots of questions here. Here we go. I know one is, are there emission issues with burning recycled oil? Maybe that's for you, Jacob.
I have not heard of any. I would have to check with the manufacturer, but I would assume there is a process within the recycled oil heater that handles those emissions and has filters or different processes that doesn't release the harmful byproducts of it, burning it. But I'd have to get back with the manufacturer to verify that.
Okay, thank you. And I know who asked the question, so when you find out, let me know and I'll send it on to her. How's that? Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, another question is the presentation gonna be available on YouTube? And I know it'll be available on our site and on YouTube, so yes to that. Okay, let's see. Do they charge for certain e-waste products such as computer monitors to be recycled? I think that's for you, Jacob.
We only accept small electronics. Again, I apologize for not having all the information in my presentation. You can find it on our website. No TVs, no large computer monitors. And if you have that, we'll direct you to one of the other organizations in Tulsa that does recycle those items. So no, we don't charge because we don't take those larger items that I know other organizations incur a fee to recycle those. So I hope that answers that question.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this question's for Susan. And Susan, can you talk a little bit about the differentiating between chemical and heat-treated pallets? Oh, I might have lost her for a second there. We'll come back to you,
Okay,
Susan.
I've unmuted.
There you are. Okay, great.
So a heat treated pallet, or what we'll call a blue pallet, all wood in the pallets is kiln dried hardwood. It has to be. There's a global standard on pallets. If I manufacture something in Tulsa and put it on at the Port of Catoosa, that pallet goes anywhere in the world, and there has to be a standard, primarily to keep the insects out of the global stream. What's the insects in your country will not be the insects in my country, and we don't want to spread them around. So all wood is kiln dried hardwood for pallets. The blue pallets or the CHEP pallets, that's a whole, is that what they're asking about? Do you have any idea?
I don't know that it indicated that. It was more between chemical and heated. And
so there's really no chemicals, again, because it's a global standard. There are no chemicals. It's just kiln dried hardwood. It's never chemically treated.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
If it's blue, it's still food grade. The blue is the coloring on the outside of a pallet is always from soy. So there's never chemicals. Yeah.
Great, good to know. I did not know that. Thank you. Thanks for the question too. Okay, this question is for Robert. It says, can you refresh us on the numbers and symbols we can recycle? So maybe, yeah. And you're muted, Robert. There you go.
Oh, okay. I should be good now, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. We moved away from the resin numbers on a lot of our plastics, and the reason why is it actually increased our contamination overall. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. A milk jug is a number 2 resin, but also the plastic bag that you get at the grocery store or the retailer is also a number 2. So if we tell you we accept numbers 2, 5, and 1, and you flip a bag upside down and see the 2 symbol on it, you're going to go ahead and place it in the recycling. Now, an avid recycler won't because they've done their homework, but what we have to do is we're actually reaching out to the masses of recyclers. Recycling, most people will recycle because it makes them feel good. Okay, they're not going to be expert recyclers where they really, really get down to it. So, and able to keep things easy, as I said in my presentation, we accept bottles, jugs, tubs, cups, and buckets. And that's what we kind of reference that to, rigid plastic containers. But to answer the question, we accept number 1, 2, and 5 plastics in our program overall. And that's going to basically cover around 96% of the plastics generated inside the household every day, and most of your products are coming in.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that update. This question, Jacob, if you're still there, there's a question here for you. The question is, what to do with old gas and gas can, like from an old mower, which can be replaced with a battery powered. So what do you do with the old gas? Can they bring that to you?
Definitely. Yeah, that's one of our flammable items that we bulk pour up, and that gets reused to fire those cement kilns. So we take all manner of residential flammable household pollutants.
Great. All right. Thank you. Let's see, Susan, a question for you. Just excited about you coming to the Tulsa area and wanting to know a little more about that. If you want to tell us a little more about your journey from to the Tulsa area.
Yes, it was exciting. Somebody persistently called my Norman location, and it finally came up to me, and we called her back, Amanda Curtis with American Waste, and they were trying to work with Whirlpool as they were trying. Whirlpool had a 50-acre new construction add-on to their facility, and they could not put a shovel in the ground until all of the waste coming out of that facility had a location to receive it. So there was nobody doing wood recycling the way we do it in the Tulsa area. And we began dialogue with Paul and Amanda and then Kenny Burkett. And we came up with an agreement where they would have, they service so many great customers in that area. So we are there because of the demand. So it's an interesting thing. If we demand it, it will happen. So where we want to go, the vision that we see, we need to be talking about, because we're not going to get there unless we demand it. So that's how I'm there.
Well, thank you. And I love hearing about all of our scorecard members that I know Spirit Air System, I think someone's online here with them, that they're working with you. And I just love to see that. Another good question just came through. This is probably for Robert. It says, what about all the black pots, like from when you're gardening, of all those sizes, and that, what do we do with those? Do you take them?
Okay, since we have a captive audience here, yes, we do. So that's something that would be generated from the yard, and that's kind of in our slogan. We normally say no, but since we have everybody on the phone and I can give you that message, yes, we can accept those. Just clean them out. They don't have to be spick and span, but get a lot of the dirt out of those. So just a quick wipe with a rag or something like that, you can toss them right in your recycle bin.
Great to know. Okay, wonderful. Megan, do we have time for one more question, or are we at time here?
You have time for a couple more questions.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Okay, let's see. And keep your questions coming. I'm looking to see if we've got another here. Robert, one of the things that's come up, even with our business members, is, and you explained really well about here locally about how a lot of the items, we're not having the challenge of China, making new demands on receiving our items. But where can someone kind of follow that information if they're eager to, really track what's going on in the recycling world? What's a good resource for people to follow?
There's a multiple of publications out there in our industry that they can go on, kind of just do a Google search, but Waste Age, Waste and Recycling, those are publications that are digital that they could sign up for. There's no cost, and they would be able to, they're providing them stories about what's going on in the recycling world every year, both domestically and worldwide.
Okay, very good. And one last question. This is for Jacob. Since we've had the household pollutant collection location, and I know you also monitor the streams, are you able to see any difference in the water quality of the streams in the Tulsa area based on the, education and getting the word out about, bringing your pollutants to us? Have you seen that over the years, and in particular with the new facility?
It's hard to directly correlate that with just one thing. Many things affect the health of our streams. But one thing that we have seen that through our education and our surveys we do with the public is that less and less people are saying that they're disposing them out into the environment, onto the ground, into the storm drains. So you could infer that, yeah, we're having an impact that way for sure.
Wonderful. That is good news. That's very good news. So, well, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, I think we're about at time here. Again, I just want to thank our wow, what an incredible panel and resource on and you guys are such an amazing resource on so many ways that we as community members can cut back on pollution in our environment and where to put these items and doing the right thing. And you know a new one I learned today is that you will take those plant pots, and that'll make me feel better at the end of a good gardening day, because I do feel a little guilty when I see what to do with those. So thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Okay, I think we have a challenge, right, for March.
We do. We have a challenge. We're going to launch one more poll too.
Okay, very good.
So our March challenge is actually, it's looking ahead. We want you to post an Earth Appreciation poll on our Sustainable Tulsa Action group page. So you are also welcome to email them to me at megan@sustainabletulsa.org. But we would love for you to join our Facebook group. And we want you just to post a picture of something that makes you appreciate Earth in that group. And we want to share them with photo credits in the month of April. So we want to see over 30 photos because we want to share how much we appreciate our environment and our surroundings. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Megan. And it's been great to watch all the questions and interaction on the Sustainable Action page there, the Facebook page. So if you're interested, I think Teresa, or if you're interested in getting more about that, I think I'll go out in the post tomorrow with the link to this presentation. So it's a great way to continue this conversation. We love seeing you monthly, of course, but it's another great way to continue that on. So thank you so much, Megan. And let's see, I think that poll is going out, but really, I just, again, want to thank all of you for joining us, and thank you to our sponsors again, our lead sponsor, Williams. Really appreciate the support they've given us last year and this year. It's made all the difference. And our neighborhood partners, PSO and PSO Wind Choice, have been with us for so many years. Thank you to PSO, and to our community advocates, American Waste Control, Covanta, the Met, One Oak, Save Our Streams, and Spirit Air Systems. If you want to be added to this, we'd love to have your support. Every sponsor, every individual make a difference in the work that we can do to help provide these programs and make a difference. So thank you so much for joining, and keep at learning more and education toward action. It's the theme. So keep it up, and we look forward to seeing you guys again next month. Have a good rest of the week and enjoy this warm weather. And I think we'll stay online if you want to join us. But again, thank you so much. You have been here with First Thursday with Sustainable Tulsa. We look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.